2 weeks left in July, and I still have 6 books on my July TBR that I need to finish. If you guys haven't seen my July TBR jar video, then you wouldn't know this, but we are going to do a quick rundown of the books that are currently on my July TBR. First book we have is The Mistake by Elle Kennedy. We have The Someday Garden by Ashley Poston. Picking Daisies on Sundays by Liana Cincotti. I really don't think I said that right. Heart's Landing by Melanie Harlow. When in Rome by Sarah Adams. And Starside by Alex Astor. I don't know if we are going to be able to tackle these 6 books by the time July is over. Like I said, we only have 2 weeks left in this month. I do not foresee us finishing all 6 of these books, but a girl can dream. I am actually filming this intro on August 5th, so I already know, obviously, what books I was able to finish. But let's just get into this reading vlog and see how many books I'm able to finish before the month of July is over. It is currently Monday, July 20th at 7:20 at night. I just finished getting ready for bed and I am going to begin reading. Right now, I am reading The Someday Garden by Ashley Poston. I have actually already read a pretty good amount today. I am really enjoying this book so far, and I am also reading this fairly fast, I feel like. Honestly, I think the main reason is because I know I absolutely love Ashley Poston's books, and I absolutely eat them up every single time I read one of her books. But I also really appreciate that the chapters are really short. I don't know if it's just me or if this is an unpopular opinion, but I hate when chapters are really long. I need to have short chapters because if there is a chapter and it's like 20, 25, whatever pages long, I just feel like it is dragging and I just need like a little pause. I don't know if that is just a me thing, but I am really enjoying these shorter chapters. If you don't know anything about this book, this is Ashley Poston's newest release. It came out, I'm pretty sure, in June, and we are following our main character, Sophie, who is actually, I can't remember, what is it called? A botanist? Is that what they're called? What do you call someone who studies plants? Okay, I was right. Our main character, Sophie, is a botanist, and she gets accepted for this job to go and tend to the garden of this place called Lilymore. It is like this older place that she had been to before. She is now back at this place. It is like this dream place that she has always wanted to work at, and finally she gets this opportunity to work there for the summer and revamp the garden because they are going to be hosting, it's a bicentennial like celebration party for this Lilymore house. I am absolutely eating this story up right now. If you guys don't know, Ashley Poston always throws a little bit of magical realism into her books. This one, I am finally just starting to get into that magical realism part. I love it. I will say I haven't found out who the male interest is going to be for this romance story, which I feel like usually we have already been introduced to them. I will say we have met 2 guys, but I can't really tell which one is going to be the male main character of the story. So I'm going to stop talking and we are going to start off on page 109 and see how far we can get tonight. Finally getting the little bit of the magical realism in this book, and I am so excited. Also, we have a character in this book. She is an older woman that is the owner of Lilymore, and her name is Eula, and I absolutely love her. They describe her wearing this like pink tracksuit with these bedazzled sneakers, and I just am like picturing her in my brain and being this like super eccentric and really just like cute little old lady, and the things that she says are just so funny. I absolutely love her, and so far she has added so much to the story. But this little moment just happened between Sophie and Eula, and it was kind of sad. I just wanted to give both of them like a hug, especially Eula, because I don't know, I just love old people, and I just feel so sad for this old woman, and I just want to hug her and like hang out with her. I don't know, I just think she's so adorable. Wednesday, July 22nd, and I wanted to give you guys an update of where I am at in the Someday Garden. On Monday, I ended up reading a total of 57 pages. On Tuesday, I read a total of 41 pages. I am currently on page 157, and that is 39% through the book. I honestly am really enjoying this book so far. I feel like it is very fast-paced, and I know I had mentioned this before, but because the chapters are fairly short, I feel like I am flying through this book. And I will say, I think we are finally starting to get into the little bit of romance. Again, I'm not too sure who the male main character interest is going to be in this story. I am going to do a little bit of reading right now, see how much we can get through, and then I'm probably also going to do some reading later on tonight as well. I did also want to mention that I am in the middle, well, not really in the middle anymore. I'm like over halfway done, but I am listening to The Storm by Rachel Hawkins. I am reading this / listening to this with a couple of people from work. That isn't on my TBR for the month of July. So I do usually read a book and listen to a book that are on my TBR for the month, but I want to actually finish The Storm so that I can talk to my friends about that. I was also previously listening to Starside by Alex Astor, and that book is quite long. I currently have 8 hours and 45 minutes left of listening to that, and I am on chapter 20. I haven't listened to any of that really at all this week, but hopefully I will be able to finish the other audiobook that I am in the middle of so that I can jump back into another book that is actually on my physical TBR for this month. So fingers crossed, I am going to be able to finish this book very, very soon. It is getting very, very close to being the end of the month, and I really need to step it up. Days later since the last time I talked to you guys, and I have since finished 3 books. Only 1 out of those 3 books were on my July TBR. I will say I am very proud of myself for even finishing 3 books, and all of them were on my physical TBR. The 2 books that were not on my July TBR that I finished was The Storm by Rachel Hawkins. This is a mystery thriller type of book, and I will say it was okay. I don't think it stood out really at all. It was a fairly short book, and this is definitely a good book to read during this time of year. It is taking place in Alabama during hurricane season, and I did listen to the audio version of this book, which I will say I think definitely helped me actually get through the book. But unfortunately, this wasn't that great or memorable book in my opinion. The second book that was not on my July TBR was American Fantasy by Emma Straub. I hope I pronounced that last name right. This is also a fairly shorter book that I did listen to on audiobook. My mom and I listened to this audiobook together on our way home from the beach. It was good. I will also say this definitely was not anything memorable for me. Basically, we have a boy band that is kind of like has a residency on this cruise ship, and there are a bunch of older women who were fans of this boy band, I believe like in the 90s. We get a couple of different point of views. One of them is from a main character whose name is Annie, and she is on the cruise with her sister. I guess was supposed to be on the cruise with her sister. And we are also following, I believe the other person's name is Sarah. She is like the cruise ship director for this band, and she kind of like makes sure everything runs smoothly. I will say it was definitely a super interesting concept. I don't know, it was just kind of like not super interesting to me in my opinion. I did think there were definitely some redeemable parts, like there were some funny aspects that I really did like that I was laughing out loud at, and I'm glad that I read it with my mom because I feel like that was a super fun experience for me. The other book that I finished, which was the last book you guys saw me reading, was The Someday Garden by Ashley Poston. Guys, I gave this a 4.5 stars. I absolutely loved this. I feel like it was a little bit of a slow burn, but I will say once we did get the romance, you'll definitely understand this if you read this book or if you have already read this book. I just feel like from one of the characters' perspectives, it was just literally so fast, like we blinked and they were together, and it just felt a little bit weird how they were going to come out and like be together in like the real world. I loved the setting, I loved all of the characters, and I love Ashley Poston's writing. Of course, I already knew that. And I really do think that this is one of my favorite books from her. Definitely read this book if you guys haven't already. I would say the spring and summertime is the best time to read this. Now let's talk about the 2 books that I am currently in the middle of that are on my July TBR. The first one we have is Heart's Landing by Melanie Harlow. I am reading this on my Kindle. I am 34% through, and I actually started this book right after I finished The Someday Garden. This past weekend, I ended up going on a trip. I actually flew to Savannah, and I read this book from the moment I sat down in the airport all the way to the moment my plane landed, and I believe I got like 22% through the book. For me personally, I feel like that was really good because that time span was probably like maybe 2 hours. I can definitely say that this book is pretty fast paced. Honestly, I am really enjoying it. I haven't heard anybody talk about this book. I picked it up purely based on how much I loved the cover and the sprayed edges, and I have not been wanting to put it down. I've been continuously wanting to pick it up. But our female main character, Mila, ends up coming back to her childhood town. She ends up coming in contact with her crush, Everett, her childhood crush. There is something that actually ended up making Mila leave, I believe, 10 years ago. And and it was because of a fire that happened in the town. Both her and Everett were at the scene of that fire, and I absolutely love that this is a romance but also has a little bit of like mystery thriller vibes to it. This book has definitely kept my attention since the first page, and I am really enjoying it. And the book that I am currently listening to is Picking Daisies on Sundays. I absolutely love this cover. It is just so simple yet so cute. I went into this book pretty blind. I just saw so many people picking it up because of the cover, and I knew it was a romance book, and that was pretty much all I knew. Right now I'm on chapter 15. I am 36% through the book, and I literally started listening to it this morning. So again, another pretty fast-paced book that I have been really enjoying. We are following our main character, Daniela, or Daisy, as some of the close people in her life call her. She actually had a crush on her childhood best friend, and his name is Levi. They both end up kind of losing touch with each other when they go off to college and after something happens between them in high school. It is now 4 years later, and they actually end up running into each other in a bar, and pretty much we get to see them jump right back into their friendship. At the spot that I am in right now, we don't know what this thing was that kind of made them drift apart. Like, I know what it is, but I don't know exactly what happened and how everything went down, and I am so interested and intrigued by this book and this storyline. I cannot wait to see what happens. I know this is a romance book, so I am really hoping everything works out for our female main character. I am really rooting for her. I will say the guy kind of like is annoying me a little bit because I feel like he's giving mixed signals. It is fake dating, which I am starting to realize is a trope that I like. He pretty much needs Mila to be his date slash girlfriend for his sister's wedding, and he's also kind of like doing that so he could potentially get a job. My Spotify says I have 5 hours and 17 minutes left, but I don't know if that calculates for the like reading speed that I have it on. I will probably update you guys sometime later this week. It is July 29th. That means that we have pretty much 2 whole days to finish both of these books. I really do think I will be able to do it, especially if I can continue to listen to this audiobook. Hopefully I can get a good chunk of reading done tonight. Fingers crossed, but I will keep you guys updated. Several days later, we are actually now in August. It is currently August 5th, and I wanted to jump on here and give you guys an update as to where we ended up at the end of July with my TBR, and we're going to see how many books from my July TBR I was able to finish, as well as what books I ended up not being able to finish. I ended up not getting to 2 books on my TBR for July, and that was Starside by Alex Astor. I was listening to this on audiobook, but I ended up not finishing it just because I really want to save this for the fall time. And then the other book that was also on my TBR was When in Rome by Sarah Adams. I didn't get to this book at all. Just remembered that the other book that I didn't get to from my TBR was The Mistake by Elle Kennedy. That one is actually also on my TBR this month, but we are going to get into the books that I did finish. You guys saw me talk about The Someday Garden by Ashley Poston. I absolutely loved this book. I love Ashley Poston, so I am so happy I was able to read this month. The other two books that I finished that weren't on my TBR, but you guys already saw me talk about, were The Storm by Rachel Hawkins and American Fantasy. Both of these were on my physical TBR, so I feel like this is still a win. Then the last book I finished in the month of July was Picking Daisies on Sundays. I actually finished this on July 31st, so right in the nick of time, I was able to complete this book, and I actually ended up really enjoying it. I was listening to this on audiobook, and it was extremely fast-paced. I think it only took me 3 days to get through this. I ended up giving it a 4 stars. The last book that was on my TBR that unfortunately I have not even finished yet is Heart's Landing by Melanie Harlow. I am currently still in the middle of reading this. We are 78% through the book, and I have been eating this book up. I absolutely love it. Every single time I put it down, I cannot wait for the next time I get to pick it up and read, because that is how much I am enjoying it. I feel like up until this point, from when these two people ended up getting together, I feel like majority of the time we see them together, it is them just hooking up. That's just something that I don't really enjoy. I don't mind that. I just really do feel like I could see more of the emotional connection. While I do see the emotional connection, I just feel like we need a little bit more. Overall, I feel like this month was a really good reading month for me. If you guys have read any of these books that you saw me talk about in today's video, definitely let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, definitely make sure to stay tuned for more videos from me, and happy reading!